INUVO Incorporated, ticker symbol INUV, is a company that we have seen absolutely blow up over the last day. Now, this company has gained traction over the last couple months, but we really saw it spike today, gaining up over 120%. So whenever a company does spike up like this, whenever I get all of these different recommendations from you all, y'all know what the drill is. Whenever y'all ask, I do deliver. And so this is a company that I could not wait to bring to you all. Now, before we do get into this video and into this analysis, I did want to just show you guys something that was sent to me by one of the members of my Patreon, because it's absolutely insane. This guy went in on a company that I mentioned in the Patreon and that I had made a YouTube video about not too long ago, maybe about a week or so. And over the last week, he has seen gains of over 168%, which totals out to almost $9,000. Now, whenever it does come to one of my biggest winners that I did put in the Patreon earlier today, I did have, a big increase in both BNGO and TRXC. These are both companies that I've talked about multiple times in the Discord. They follow all of my trades and I update them whenever I do make any changes. And I'm up big in both of these, over 200% in BNGO and obviously up over 145% in TRXC. So if you do want access to these trades live, if you do want updates on the portfolio, if you do want to be immersed among a community of over almost 90 investors and traders now who bounce ideas off each other, talk a whole bunch of stocks, penny stocks, hot stocks, everything like that, definitely consider heading to the Patreon down below. All of this information is going to be there. You can also have early access to the content of my videos and subjects dependent on the tier that you choose. It is an overall amazing opportunity in my opinion for anyone who is involved, so I really do hope to see you there. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and let's take a look at what is going on with INUVO. This company has just been absolutely insane. Whenever I went live a few days ago, I seen it mentioned maybe like 4 or 5 times over and over again. In my comment sections, I saw it about 4 to 5 times on every single video. So y'all know I already had to check it out. I honestly must say that this company has a lot of potential, and I think going into the future here that there are a lot of good things coming. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and let's take a look. What is going on with INUVO Incorporated, ticker symbol INUV. So the big question, and the thing that honestly took me a second to figure out, what does INUVO do? Well, they develop technology that connects advertisers with consumers through interactions with content across devices. INUVO provides the means to interact with tens of thousands of advertisers and tens of thousands of online publishers. They interact with demand-supply constituents directly and indirectly. They serve ads that associate with images, content, video, and slideshows. Now, this is the majority of what they do, is the the ad placement and the choosing of the advertisements in which to show to consumers that will have the highest turnover rates for these companies, and it's all through AI. But we'll get through that in a little bit later. Now, buyers of advertising inventory, which include media partners, advertisers, agencies, agency trading desks, demand-side platforms, and ad networks, use their solution incorporating a proprietary form of artificial intelligence, AI, branded the intent key. Now, the intent key is going to be their main service. Now, this is a sophisticated machine learning technology, uses interactions with internet content as a source of information from which to determine intent. The AI solution includes a continually updated database of over 500 million machine profiles, which we will utilize to deliver highly targeted online audiences to our demand customers. So with that being said, I know it is a little bit confusing and it might be a little bit hard to understand, but basically what this artificial intelligence does is it takes a lot of these different connections, and I will go in a lot more depth, and there are some examples that are listed around their website that I'm going to bring to you guys. But overall, it figures out what is going to be the best thing to show this consumer that will have the highest turnover rate. Like, okay, this person does yoga, which is something that's mentioned later. So let's show them this because this is typically associated with yoga. And this AI goes through millions of interactions a day, over hundreds of thousands a second, to figure out what is going to be the best thing to show these people or these consumers. And then that is how they overall generate this, this increased ad revenue. And whenever they push out these ads, that then brings in more customers for these companies. The companies will, of course, then continue to pay them. So it is a little bit confusing, but honestly, it does get more simple as the video does go on, so definitely stick around if you are confused. Now, a good example of a service that they've provided to a home leasing company is that they were trying to find renters and gain valuable insight from INUVO. Now, the challenge that was presented to INUVO was that they wanted them to find qualified home rental applicants and convert them into renters at an efficient cost. Well, INUVO had a technological solution, of course. INUVO's intent key AI-driven prospecting technology targeted the client's specific demos, but also allowed the AI to optimize and garner insights on the highest converting audiences, allowing for optimal performance. So basically what that's saying is that the AI allowed them to optimize, what exactly they were looking at in order to determine who was going to be the most likely to then actually rent out these different houses, because they don't want to advertise all of, pay for all of these different advertisements to be shown to people who will not then become a consumer of the company. So their AI allows them to, again, on the highest, to target the highest converting audiences. Well, the results were that the home leasing company beat their CPA goal by 22%, expanded the scope of the successful campaign by 50%, and gathered key audience learnings that are continuously being utilized in expanded marketing efforts. Now, this does show that there is two sides of this coin. Not only can this company provide them with the customers and provide them with higher customer conversions, but they can also educate them on what their customer base should be, who they should be targeting, and allow them to, reach a lot new consumer bases, simply for the fact that their AI allows them to see, okay, these people are more likely to want to use your product or to, in this case, rent out your homes, etc. So this is not only a service, but it is also a form of education as well that can serve very, very valuable going on into the future with a lot of different companies. So what are some of the perks and, what are some of the good things about this company that allows them to stand out from the crowd? Well, they have an executive team from some of the world's best-known data and analytics companies. They have a client roster that includes many of the world's most respected brands across multiple industries, and as we can see here, it's absolutely amazing. Google, St. Jude's, Bose, Dish, Microsoft, Axicom, Toyota, Apple, Nexus, Yahoo. The list goes on, and there are more that we will see later that are just absolutely phenomenal. This company's making amazing steps. They have a strong balance sheet with core marketing services, business, and highly differentiated growing AI-based marketing technology products. They have 17 patents issued and 8 pending with highly differentiated technology for marketing and data processing, which is super important because this is, once the information is out there and once people really start to understand what technology is capable of, it's not too hard to replicate that if they have the correct science and the right people behind it. So the fact that they have 17 patents kind of provides them with some type of, uniqueness, and it allows them to remain being creative and new, because companies can't just go and copy what they're doing. Now, there are 65 people in Little Rock and San Jose with a data analytics and marketing software concentration, and that's just a little cherry on top. It is good to know that there's that many people who are working at their locations who actually know what's going on and can actually run this, overall operation. Now, there is one key aspect of their overall AI that I do think is amazing, and that is going to be their real-time visibility. The intent key identifies the earliest signals of consumer intent by processing over 200,000 possible consumer engagements per second, enabling the ability to reach users in near real time. Now, this is something that we have not seen with many other companies. I know this is even faster than Snowflake. And so whenever a company is at this level and then we're at the stock price that we are seeing, there's a lot of potential that could be had if this company can keep up this momentum. Now, of course, they did have that the intent key has reimagined the consumer data industry using AI to manufacture data that is anonymous, privacy compliant, does not use third-party information, and will work in a cookieless world. They have 30 million invested, 15 patents issued, and 8 pending patents for their AI alone. So, like I said, they are very, very, very complex. They have a very, intense program there that is going to actually continue to grow. And I think that with AI being the future of the world, I think that there's things that AI can do that humans simply cannot. Clearly, we cannot go over 200,000 possible consumer engagements per second. And I think AI is simply going to be the way that humans do evolve. So the fact that they are capitalizing on that early and, this early in the company itself is fantastic. So I did have a cool little paragraph picked up here that just kind of somewhat explains how the overall process of the AI works. I'll quickly go through this one because it is, again, just more of an explanation to clarify what exactly the AI does. But here it says that when we read a sentence containing the word galaxy, the additional and related words in the article help us determine if we're reading about a solar system, a soccer team, or a cell phone, or Galaxy Next Generation, wink wink. As we grow and develop, our brains naturally develop associations between words, helping us comprehend the content and develop related concepts. Now, intent key artificial intelligence works in a similar manner. It is trained by billions of web page interactions. The intent key learned and established over 25 million different concepts, creating hundreds of millions of intent-driven profiles. By uncovering hidden associations between concepts, INUVO can uncover incremental high-performing and market and relevant audiences that would be hidden without the intent key prospecting engine. engine, expanding to purchasing consideration funnel. Now, the scale and accuracy of the intent key empowers INUVO clients to discover new and untapped audiences, driving incremental growth and profits. And now I do like that, and that is something to touch up on as well, because not only is this going to allow them to further, expand the consumer bases in which they already have, but it will allow them to reach consumer bases who they may not have been able to, humanly comprehend would be a good consumer base for their overall product. So this company, they're providing a service, and their artificial intelligence is so complex that it genuinely can, take a company and grow it substantially, not even in the course of only a few weeks. So with these products, what is this company looking like financially? Well, I must say it is honestly not that bad. It definitely does need some work, but we can see that this company is starting to have a solid financial backing. Well, we can see here that their cash did grow substantially from December 31st of 2019 to September 30th of 2020, going from $372,000 in cash up to $9.5 million in cash. Their total assets overall did go from 30 million to about 35 million over the year, which definitely is not a bad thing whatsoever, especially when you consider the year that we did have last year. It was a rough one for all industries, especially the marketing industry, as many companies didn't have much cash to spend on marketing. Now, one thing that we will take notice of is that their total current liabilities also did drop significantly over the same time frame, going from 15 million down to 6 million, and their total long-term liabilities did increase a little from 500,000 to about 2.4 million. But honestly, to trade 15 million to 6 million, to trade that for 599,000 to 2.4 million, I'd honestly take it, because I would much rather see a company lose 9 million in current liabilities and gain 2 million in long term rather than the reverse. So I do think that that could be a positive as well. Now, this is where the issues do come in with them financially, that we have seen them struggle a little bit. Now, they are currently not profitable. They're operating at a loss of about 2.4 million compared to a loss of 2.3 million last year. So if you do think about it in a sense that even though they went through a year like they did, they were still able to, increase their assets and decrease some of their liabilities while maintaining the losses that they were seeing. So that does tell me that even though that they weren't, seeing the same revenue, that they weren't capable of, selling as much, and their service and their overall client base did decrease substantially, they were able to maintain and grow out their assets in preparation for the year whenever, life went back to normal. So I will say that that is a very good sign for this company. I think that that means whenever we do start to see the world go back to normal, that they could really be set up and in well positioned to increase their overall consumers and overall just increase the company in general. This is a fantastic company. I really do like the potential that they have, and I think one aspect that we are about to go into that many other institutional investors would agree. So as we can see here, that INUVO has over 50 institutional owners and shareholders. Now, these institutions hold a total of 20.5 million shares. Now, some of the largest shareholders include Herald Investment Management, Perkins Capital Management, and Vanguard Group. Now, if you are new to penny stocks, if you're new to the stock market in general, you might not realize how substantial it is to have an actual investment from Vanguard. But realistically, Vanguard very rarely invests into penny stocks. And whenever they have invested into penny stocks, we have seen those companies start to really prevail. That we've seen them have a lot of success in the future. And Vanguard is no slouch, and they are not new to investing. So whenever we see a company being one of the largest shareholders, and whenever we see Vanguard being one of the largest shareholders in a company, we can automatically assume that there's something good about this company that is very appealing. And now, just for the numbers, we can see the overall shares that Vanguard does hold. They do have a few different pieces of their ETFs that are going to be invested into them. We have VEXMX that has about 420,000, VBINX with about 65,000, and their largest holding being VTSMX that is going to have 2.1 million shares. So again, we can see that this Vanguard really does have faith in this company, and they are investing a solid amount into this company right now. This is almost $1 million worth of value. Now, last but not least, we will go ahead and look at the stock price. As I did mention earlier, this company had a fantastic day, going up over 146% in a single trading session. Over the last 5 days, we can see that this was almost out of nowhere. They were seeing losses of about 10% on some days. We did see a loss up until today of about 10% there. And And honestly, it has been a relatively stagnant and very boring ride for the last about month or so. Honestly, about the last 6 months. Well, overall, we have gotten the news that there was an agreement that they were going to be doing a securities purchase with other institutional investors that would raise capital of up to $8 million. And that did somewhat start this uptrend. We saw this thing absolutely take off, and I don't believe that it is going to stop just yet. Now, I do believe that we are going to see this thing slow down at some point here, but I will say that I do believe that this company is fantastic. Of course, I have been trying to build out my penny stock portfolio. I've been a long-term investor for a very long time, and I figured that if I did allocate and dedicate 5% of my portfolio to penny stocks, that I could see some substantial returns, as I do believe that I have made some pretty good picks in the past, as we have seen from my Patreon. But with that being said, I do believe that this is another company that I want to add into my collection. So what I'm going to be doing is dollar cost averaging my way in. If this thing continues to go up, I will buy it and, ride it as it does go up. But if it does begin to fall, I will dollar cost average my way down, as I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing take a little bit of a dip, a little bit of a pullback, because as we have seen, it has not had the best year overall. Whenever we have seen some of these rises, it has fallen substantially. So if we do see this thing have a bit of a pullback, I wouldn't be surprised. I will use that as a buying opportunity, as I do believe it has perfectly set itself up for the future to see a lot of success. Let me know what you guys think about this company down in the comment section below. I really think that this company has loads of potential, and I'm very excited to start my position into them. Now, if you do want all of the details and access to the trades that I make with this company, my entry, my exits, my overall strategy, you can find out all of this information in my Patreon, which will be down in the description below. I really do appreciate all of the support that you have been showing on the Patreon. It really does go a long way. It helps me fuel this channel, and it allows me to keep bringing you all the value and content that you are looking for. With that being said, I will be posting 2 to 3 times every single day, and I hope to see you all soon. Peace.